I would say that, if you're a USC fan, yeah, you want Utah, especially since Travis Dye will not be able to play against Oregon in a possible game against the Ducks. Like if that matchup was going to happen, you would want Travis Dye on the field to stick it to Oregon and also provide some inside intel on the Ducks. But the other thing to consider in terms of the Pac-12 championship game is that Utah plays Colorado next week. Oregon plays Oregon State. Now, again, USC wants revenge for Utah. So I'm not debating that point, but just strictly in terms of winning the game, there is an argument to make for having Oregon, because Oregon is going to have a much more physical, overall holistic challenge against the Beavers than Utah will have against Colorado. And, we're coming off a USC win here against UCLA. And I told Mark Rogers this past Monday that, USC basically, I think, I don't think Lincoln Riley's said anything directly to this effect, but with Colorado being the lead-in opponent to UCLA, he really had 2 weeks to prepare for the Bruins. You're not going over Colorado game film with a fine-tooth comb. You're already installing the game plan for UCLA. You're getting your guys to think about UCLA habits, UCLA tendencies. So if we kind of carry that a few steps further and look at the Pac-12 championship game, Utah, if it gets by Oregon, it then has Colorado. Utah can be on that 2 weeks to prepare schedule, because it just needs to show up and breathe, and it'll beat Colorado. Whereas Oregon really does have to focus on that tough Oregon State defense. We all saw how tough that defense is here at USC in late September in Corvallis. So that is the counter argument to make. I'm not disputing the idea that, hey, USC wants Utah. Bring on the Utes, round 2. We'll get them in Vegas. But Oregon could be the more banged up team, having to deal with Oregon State and then make the jump to Las Vegas on a short week compared to Utah playing Colorado.
That'd be real nice. And guys, I just got word live from Las Vegas. If you stick around with us, we've got about 15, 20 minutes. We are going to be joined by LBC Trojan, who is with Mrs. LBC Trojan right now at the Billy Idol concert in Vegas. And he's going to be joining us live as soon as he can get out of there in about 15 minutes.
And the thing
a wedding, a concert, he's everywhere.
Oh, LBC Trojan is the man.
He's living his best life.
No, he really is. LBC Trojan is freaking awesome. He's the greatest guy.
I just thought the win over Oregon, because of the Georgia he's called this. I don't want to call it the stain, but because of what happened against Georgia, I think that kind of hurt. It hurts. I think they're a great team. I think they still might be the best team in the conference, right? But what I am saying is that I think that just the narrative of us beating Utah on a neutral field, I think might be stronger than beating an Oregon who everyone nationally is dismissed already.
Yeah, so. I think that's certainly true. I do think this brings up another point, though, as we kind of give a brief peek to Notre Dame, and that is that before the season began, it was a pretty unanimous point among anyone who follows and covers USC. This team probably isn't ready to make the playoff. It probably doesn't have playoff level talent or depth on defense, and so now with the playoff being a little bit closer to the realm of possibility, this is a real temptation for the players. There's going to be a lot of playoff talk after the Tennessee loss to South Carolina. Going to be a lot of playoff talk, and players need to be locked in on Notre Dame tunnel vision. So, of course, we here at the Voice of College Football, as fans, people who love USC, yes, of course, we're going to talk about the playoff. But players really need to zone in, get their goggles, their night vision on, and focus on Notre Dame. Just take care of that. And one thing I also said on the Mark Rogers Monday show this past week, the main goal is to get a New Year's Six bowl, and this win over UCLA brings USC closer. And I think the calculus in terms of a New Year's Six bowl is this: USC basically gets 2 bites at the apple. If USC beats Notre Dame, USC is going to be 11-1 and is going to be in the top 5 of the rankings. So even if you then lose the Pac-12 title game, you're still in the top 12. And looking at other teams across the nation, so Ole Miss lost. So Ole Miss is definitely out of the New Year's Six bowl.
They lost bad.
Yeah, and Penn State, Penn State it could be 10-2, but without any high quality win. So USC banks a high quality win here. If you bank a second high end win, USC is going to finish ahead of Penn State in the final college football playoff rankings, and that means that USC's spot in the New Year's Six will be pretty well solidified. So, yes, the playoff conversation's inevitable. And it's definitely worth considering, to be sure. But USC now gets 2 bites at the apple. Win one of these next 2 games against Notre Dame or in Vegas in the Pac-12 title game, USC will be playing in a top-tier bowl game. And that really matters to me. If you're playing in one of the 6 signature bowl games in year 1 under Lincoln Riley, like that is the next really definitive statement for this program to make. So you can make that statement against Notre Dame. You can make that statement in Vegas. We'd love it if it's both, but USC now gets 2 chances to play its way into the New Year's Six, and that's a very big deal.
I do want us in the playoff, but I do also enjoy spending the entire month of December humming to myself, the little old lady from Pasadena, go Granny, go Granny, go Granny, go. And
but if it is
everything's
Utah,
coming up roses, doo-doo.
Hey,
Come on, guys. Summon your inner Bette Midler, guys.
Right?
Matt, what do you guys think of this one? Carroll has some great coaches. Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, Ogeron, Norm Chow, Ken Norton Jr. A lot of them went to UCLA. But anyway, I digress. Any of Riley's coaches in that class?
In terms of the coaches that we just mentioned, I mean, Sean Nua is up for the Broyles. And I think, with the work that he's done with the defensive front, I think that Broyles Award consideration is definitely merited. And also Josh Henson, this offensive line's been great, and it's played through injuries. And I think it was really important that Andrew Voorhees was, much healthier this week after, the injuries of the previous weeks. He got back to being himself. That was absolutely necessary. But with the work that Josh Henson has done, shuffling guys around positions, that's been huge.
And Henson,
I kind of think that they should give it to him because he's got the extra bonus. He comes with the misses, who's just Hanson. As important to the program.
That's the tight end coach.
Hanson. Oh no, Hanson. I'm sorry, I was not listening.
But the thing about Henson,
Hanson.
Yeah, I was thinking Hanson. It's long. I'm still in La La Land over this, guys. I'm delighted.
He wasn't the coach for these guys, but this is right. USC 3 out of 4 years in a row, assuming Voorhees goes to the first round. We're talking 3 out of 4 USC, right? First round draft picks. Is that correct? If I'm doing my math right, over the past 4 years. Matt?
What'd you say, Tim? I think the computers are freezing for a sec.
Oh, well, I was just saying that the knock on USC for a long time, why we weren't getting big men, was the fact that they weren't developing offensive linemen. And if you look back, 3 out of the last 4 years, USC has had an offensive lineman go in the first round over the past 4 years. And again, that momentum is going to help us, especially bringing Henson in from Texas A&M. That could only help us. So I'm just I'm really excited because what we're missing here is guys in the trenches, right? But with coaches like Nua and Henson, that's going to be turning around really quick through the portal and through recruiting. You got guys sticking guys into the draft. We have a guy like Tuli Pelotu who's leading the country in sacks. These are the kind of things that are to catch the eyes of recruits and guys that are maybe on a really good player, maybe an all-conference player that's stuck on a team somewhere, out there that might want to come join, a playoff contender.